Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Finn's Fish. I just wanted to update you on something here that I just picked up. These are a pair of really small Siamese algae eaters. Saw them at my local pet store today, or no, a couple days ago, sorry. And thought they would do a great job of helping clean up some of this hair algae. I'm keeping a lot of the lights on, trying to grow algae for these guys to keep everything going, so I can feed a lot, and these plants are growing pretty quickly too. But we have a lot of iron in our water, which is supposed to cause a lot of this hair algae growth. I've been picking it out of here with my hands, but I thought I'd get a little bit of help from a cleanup team, and a lot of reading I did online and just various things said the Siamese algae eaters were the answer. Now I have tons of these red cherry shrimp, and there's a lot of little babies if I can get them on there. There's one, and that's a smaller pair. Is that the right? I'm trying to see through the, yeah, that's a little guy, and there was a couple of them there. There's a couple more over here. And they go all the way down to really tiny little things you can barely see. And everything I read said that these Siamese algae eaters, especially when they're small, wouldn't have any issues with those guys. And these little guys, I figured, you know, doesn't show up on there, but the one is about, I don't know, half an inch, maybe 3/4, and the other one might be an inch long. So I didn't figure there would be much of an issue here. I have them in the little Lee specimen container because I just was sitting here watching them, and I watched one swim right over and eat a baby shrimp. So I'm trying to grow this population in here to start selling them to local pet stores and maybe some online. So that's not what I need. I don't need those guys being eaten, but I just wanted to share that with everybody. Maybe I just got a really aggressive one, but even though everything you see online says they don't eat baby cherry shrimp, I just watched the big one swim over and eat one. So what I'm doing here, and pardon the loud bubbling over here, it's going to come back on them. I have to let go of it. What I'm going to do here is, since I have kind of an emergency, I had to pull them out of here. I netted them, I put them in the specimen container. And I am going to set up this real quick, just as an emergency place for them to live, this little 10-gallon here. And I don't want to throw them in anything else. So I'm going to take this big filter here and toss it in there to get an instant cycle. This one's been in here for a while going. So I'm going to throw him in the next door and make sure those guys get some time. Man, my tank is dirty. Get some time on their own to, so that I'm making sure. I'm going to run full meds through them and everything. I wasn't going to run full meds through them with putting them in with shrimp, but I am going to run full meds through them when I'm putting them in with other fish, because I don't want them in here causing trouble for any of the fish I'm trying to sell. So I will not put them in this tank or any tank like this until they've gone through the med trio, I guess is what it's called. But we'll run three different meds through them, make sure they don't have anything going on, give them a week or two, probably 2 weeks, and make sure there's nothing cropping up. But I will pick you back up here in a second. I'm gonna finish filling this tank, throw this sponge filter in there, and put the fish in there, acclimate them in the lees. But this tank has tons of filtration. It has way more filtration with the big filter on the hang-on back than it needs for the whole tank, but I like to give them extra and keep cycled media just for this kind of thing. So hang on just for a second. Alright, so here a couple minutes later, we're filling up the water, just running it in slowly. I took some water out of that big tank behind it, and I took that sponge filter so it was the same temperature, and some of the water, you know, the parameters would be similar. And then we're gonna run some ICX through it, some API, general cure, and we'll acclimate those guys slowly. Now I do have, the funny thing is I do have a quarantine tank that I use for this sort of thing, so I wouldn't normally be setting up an emergency quarantine tank. But I guess this is a good reason to show you how to do it. But I have killifish in there that would just devour these little guys. So they're in there doing their quarantine, and I can't put these ones in with them because they'll eat them. So I'm just going to quickly set up a new one. And what I did here is I put 5 mils of ICX into 10 gallon. Just do it with a syringe, makes it way easier. And then I'll use a jungle cure, fungus cure too in here. So you're running 3 different. We're going to treat for egg fungus or internal parasites. Alright guys, so all I have left to do here is finish filling this up, and I'll hang these guys in here. Make sure they're acclimating temperature wise. It's hard to see all this. And then as soon as I do, I'll throw them in. Get it all going. Make sure they're in here. And this sponge is quite nice because it has a lot of blackbeard algae on it anyway that they should be able to feast on. The other reason, there's one reason I'm using this fizzy tab of fungus. What is it? Jungle cure fungus. I threw some snails in here, and I wanted to see if that affects them because it's a cheaper way to go to treat that. So I'm going to test it out on some inexpensive stuff here. Make sure that this pond snail and a couple ram's horns. Just make sure that they're going to survive it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.